Folks, Rich Van Tassel with you. Got to give you the recaps of some of these games. I was gone for most of the day, so I have to do them now. My apologies. The Eagles hammered the Chicago Bears 31-3. Philadelphia is cruising right now. They're 10-1, 6-0 at home. Chicago drops to 3-8. Mitchell Trubisky, again, not spectacular. I wouldn't say terrible. He did throw 2 interceptions, but was 17 of 33, 147 yards. I'll say this many times. Trubisky needs time to play. What you judge Mitchell Trubisky on are the flashes. He was their top rusher, 4 carries for 12 yards. That's 3 yards per carry. Jordan Howard, 7 carries for 6 yards. Benny Cunningham, 1 for 11. Tariq Cohen, 2 for minus 11. The team altogether, 14 carries for 6 yards. That's 0.4 of a yard per rush. Not going to win, especially when you have an inexperienced rookie quarterback. Dontrell Inman, 4 receptions, 64 yards. Danielle Brown, 2 of 20. Trey McBride, the third, 2 of 20. Bobby Massey, Eddie Goldman, Isaiah Irving, all recovered fumbles. Mitchell Trubisky fumbled twice, did not lose any of them. Trey McBride and Jordan Howard both recovered fumbles. The team only had 1 sack. It was Jonathan Pollard, no interceptions. Tariq Cohen, 3 kicks returned, 71 yards. Sam Acho, 1 kick return for 3 yards, no punt return. Carlos Santos, 1 for 2 in his field goals. For the Eagles, Carson Wentz, 23 of 36, 227 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Nick Foles, 3 of 3 for 21 yards. LeGarrette Blount, top rusher, 15 of 97, 6.5. Carson Wentz, 5 of 29, 5.8. Corey Clement, 4 of 27, 6.8. Jay Ajayi, 5 of 26, 5.2. 31 for 176, 5.3 yards per rush in a game. You win by 28 points, and that included Nick Foles, 4 carries for minus 3 yards, obviously taking kneel down. So we can talk all day long about Carson Wentz and the weapons that are playing very well. I'm not going to deny for 1 second that they are, but this team is running the ball very well. Zach Ertz, 10 receptions, 103 yards, 1 touchdown. Alshon Jeffrey, 5 for 52, a touchdown. Nelson Aguilar, 3 of 32, a touchdown. Torrey Smith, 4 of 30. Malcolm Jenkins, LeGarrette Blount, Nick Foles, all lost fumbles. Jay Ajayi fumbled, was not lost. Nelson Aguilar recovered a fumble. The team had 2 sacks. Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. Corey Graham, Malcolm Jenkins both had interceptions. Ken John Barner, 1 punt return for 17 yards. There were no kick returns. Jake Elliott, 1 for 1 in his field goal. Look, Philadelphia is rolling. Their defense is starting to come along as well. As I just said a moment ago, Carson Wentz is playing great. I don't want to take anything away from him, but to me, the most important thing you've got to look at with the Philadelphia Eagles is the way they're running the ball thus far this season. As for the Chicago Bears, look, their defense is really not where you would want it to be. Obviously, as we saw in this game, Mitchell Trubisky, look, he's got to start to show some signs these last couple weeks, though. Again, he's showing the flashes of what he can play, what you want to see from him as far as signs. You got to look for him to at least be developing more in a game and put more consistent efforts forward. I don't have my real doubts about Mitchell Trubisky, but that is something I'd like to see moving forward. The Buffalo Bills get the win in Kansas City, 16-10. Buffalo is now up to 6-5. Kansas City drops to 6-5. That division is all of a sudden wide open. Even the team like the San Diego Chargers is only 1 game back. Buffalo, just when you want to give up on them, here they go and get a win. Tyrod Taylor, 19 of 29, 183 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. LaShawn McCoy, 22 carries, 49 yards, 2.2 per rush. Tavares Cadet, 628, 4.7. The team, 37 of 104, 2.8 yards per rush. How you win a game like that, that's close. Again, if you're blowing a team out and you run the ball 37 times for only 100 yards, I could understand. But to win 16-10, where your quarterback only throws for 183 yards. I got to check and see how many turnovers there were by the Chiefs or penalties. Had to be something along those lines. Charles Clay, 4 receptions for 60 yards. Zay Jones, 3 of 33 with the touchdown. LaShawn McCoy, 4 of 30. Brandon Tate fumbled and recovered. 2 sacks. Cedric Thornton and Lorenzo Alexander. Tre'Davious White had an interception, returned at 63 yards, not for a touchdown, but certainly that is a big play. You're swinging the field regardless. I don't know where it ended up, but that's one of the ways you get away with running for 2.8 yards per rush on 37 carries. Brandon Tate, 6 punt returns, 61 yards, longest of 20, so that certainly plays into it. Stephen Hauschka, 3 for 4 in his field goals. For the Chiefs, Alex Smith, 26 of 36, 199 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 5 carries, 35 yards. Alex Smith, top rusher, 7 yards per carry. Kareem Hunt, 11 of 17, 1.5. Tyreek Hill, 2 of 13, 6.5. They were only 19 of 55, 2.9 yards per rush. That includes Kareem Hunt, 1 for -10. So that helps. Tyreek Hill, 7 receptions, 41 yards. Travis Kelce, 3 of 39. Albert Wilson, 3 of 36, a touchdown. No fumbles, 2 sacks. No kick or no interceptions. Sharkandrick West, 2 kick returns, 37 yards. Akeem Hunt, 1 for 32. Tyreek Hill, 2 punt returns, no yards. Harrison Buckner, 1 for 1 in his field goal. Look, this has certainly made things very interesting in the AFC West. All of a sudden, the San Diego Chargers, who started out 0-4, are only a game back now. In this one, penalties were 6 of 50 for both teams. I don't really know what happened to the Chiefs in this one, to the Chiefs in this one, because Buffalo didn't really put up those numbers. You had a punt return of 63 yards. Again, the running numbers were close, but Kansas City only ran the ball 19 times for 2.9 per rush. Yeah, I mean, Buffalo ran the ball 37 times for 2.8 yards per rush. There's no reason they should win this game. Alex Smith, his interceptions have gone up slightly. You would have to expect that with the start he got off to. Kansas City's got to figure it out. Oakland won again, won today, so they're certainly in the thick of things. Buffalo is right in the thick of things. In a wild card, the Bills, look, their defense has been bludgeoned the last couple weeks. It's been very good this year. They were good today. Their offense certainly has to get working. Buffalo, you just can't ever trust them, though. And then they come out and they surprise you with this one. So, very tricky game. I don't know how it went down like that, but it did. And both teams are 6-5. Cleveland, they lost 0-11, 0-5 on the road. Cincinnati, now they're still in the thick of things in the wild card. 5-6, 3-2 at home. It was 30-6. DeShone Kizer, fairly okay in this game. 18 of 31, 268 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Isaiah Crowell, 16 of 95, rushing 5.9 yards per rush. DeShone Kizer, 9 of 39, 4.3 yards per rush, a touchdown. Duke Johnson Jr., 6 of 35, 5.8. 31 of 169, 5.5 yards per rush. We've said this a few times this year. Cleveland has had some very good running games, and they're still losing every time they step on the field. They are now 1-26 under Hugh Jackson. It's just not okay, folks. Corey Benjamin, top receiver, 3 of 64. Kenny Britt, 2 of 52. David Njoku, 4 of 47. Seth DeVale, 2 of 33. DeShone Kizer fumbled. It was not lost. Duke Johnson Jr. recovered a fumble. 1 sack, Myles Garrett. No interceptions. Matthew Days, 5 kick returns, 103 yards. Jabril Peppers, 1 punt return for 13. Zane Gonzalez, 3 for 4 in his field goals for the Bengals. Andy Dalton, 18 of 28, 214 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Joe Mixon, top rusher. Nice to see him getting going. 23 carries, 114 yards, 5 yards per rush, 1 touchdown. Andy Dalton, 4 of 26, 6.5. The team, 30 of 152, 5.1 yards per rush. A.J. Green, 5 receptions, 66 yards. Joe Mixon, 3 of 51. Brandon LaFell, 3 of 33. Alex Erickson, 1 of 18. Tyler Boyd, 2 of 17. A touchdown. Tyler Croft, 3 of 14. And the other touchdown. 4 sacks. Geno Atkins, Carlos Dunlap, Chris Smith had a split sack. I don't know who split them exactly. Carl Lawson had the other of the split sacks. He also had a full sack. And or he might have had 3 half sacks. Who knows? Pat Sims had a sack as well. Alex Erickson, a 25-yard kick return. Adam Jones, 1 punt return, 14 yards. Alex Erickson, 1 of 14. Randy Bullock, 3 for 3 in his field goals. Cincinnati is starting to find their offense. Again, their division is basically out of reach at this point. Even if Pittsburgh loses tonight, they're still 3 back. But at 5-6, everyone is involved in that wild card race, especially with Kansas City losing. That puts them in the wild card race because you're with the teams that might not win the division as well out there, like like Los Angeles, like Oakland. No one is running away with it. They got off to a slow start, but Joe Mixon, if he can continue to develop that running game, they'll need it. That would be big. Their offensive line play has to be better. The Browns, they're not even worth commenting on anymore. The Falcons are now starting to find their form again. 34-20 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Atlanta is up to 7-4. Tampa Bay drops to 4-7. Ryan Fitzpatrick 27-44, 283, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Doug Martin 7 carries, 33 yards, 4.7 per rush. Jacquizz Rodgers 8 of 31, 3.9. Ryan Fitzpatrick 2 of 20, 10 yards per rush. The team 23 of 94, 4.1 yards per rush. Mike Evans 6 receptions, 78 yards. Deshaun Jackson 8 of 60. O.J. Howard 3 of 52. Brent Grimes recovered a fumble. No sacks, no interceptions. Jacquizz Rodgers 2 kick returns, 43 yards. Patrick Murray 2 for 2 in his field goals. Brian Anger, he was punting, so we don't even care about that. For the Falcons, Matt Ryan 26 of 35, 317 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Mohamed Sanu threw a 51-yard touchdown. Tevin Coleman 19 carries, 97 yards, 5.1 per rush, 2 touchdowns. Terron Ward 7 of 35, 5 yards per rush. Julio Jones 1 of 15. The team 28 of 148, 5.3 yards per rush. Julio Jones, he's been kind of held down all season. He broke out today, 12 receptions, 253 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mohamed Sanu, 8 of 64. Austin Hooper, 3 of 38. Terron Ward lost a fumble. 1 sacked. Carlos McKinley, no interceptions. Andre Roberts, 5 kick returns, 129 yards, 25.8, pretty good. Longest of 33. Brings those numbers up a bit, but that's still pretty solid. Andre Roberts, 2 punt returns, 26 yards. Matt Bryant, 2 for 2 in his field goals. Tampa Bay, look, they're playing in a tough division. Obviously, they're going to struggle a bit with Ryan Fitzpatrick. They had 1-2 straight. I'd still like to see more from this defense. Obviously, the season is essentially lost at this point, but this is a case with a team that you'd like to see who's there and who's not for that defense, because I think that's a real weak part of their team. For Atlanta, they're really coming along nicely. Matt Ryan is getting back into form. Their running game is coming along, and the more they get Julio Jones involved, the better off they'll be. All right, we'll be back in a little bit to continue on with the recaps of Week 12 of the NFL season. Stay tuned.